I'm Kenley Smith, Director of Tennessee Playwrights Studio.
And I'm Molly Breen, co-founder, program coordinator, and producer at TPS.
We're both delighted to welcome you to our virtual reading festival. For the past year, 6 playwriting fellows from across the state have been working on brand new scripts. Because of the pandemic, we were only able to meet in person twice. Thanks to technology, however, we were able to continue our workshops and rehearsals virtually. Here are the results. What you'll be experiencing tonight is a working draft. Your input is a vital part of this process, so during the reading, feel free to use the chat function to make comments or pose a question for the playwright. Afterward, we'll use your feedback as the foundation for a talkback with the artist, so be sure to stick around. Again, thanks for stopping by to be a part of this brand new show.
Good evening. My name's Adam Hughes, and it's been my pleasure to direct tonight's production of SANDBAGS, an exciting new play written by Caitlin Myers. We live in an era of environmental crisis. Extreme weather events displace thousands from their homes each year, and the long-term effects of climate change threaten billions with forced migration, food supply chain disruption, and other catastrophes. While awareness of global warming is increasing, at the same time, frontline communities are constantly facing the impacts of fossil fuel extraction, like strip mining, fracking, and pipeline construction. We often miss these stories in our media, especially since those affected are disproportionately likely to be low-income and Black and other people of color. However, they contain some of the strongest, savviest, and most driven people in the world. Powerful fighters for justice, moved by a vision of a sustainable future where they don't have to worry about pollution and landscape devastation, or to choose between their health and their family's economic security. But this is not just a play about the environment. It's a profoundly human story, about people thrown together in a high-pressure environment, united by a sense of shared values, but coming from very different positions of privilege and oppression, and different ideas about the future. As you watch, reflect on the communities that you're a part of. Think about what actions you might be taking to build the future you hope to see. Think about what communities may be invisible to you, that may sacrifice to maintain your style of life. And think about the people who may not have as much as you, and who may have to fight to hold on to what they do have. What does that fight cost? Mostly, take the time to laugh and enjoy yourself this evening. These actors and the staff at Tennessee Playwrights Studio have done an incredible job to bring these characters to life. It's been a privilege to work with them to bring SANDBAGS to you. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Hello, I'm Kenley Smith, Director of Tennessee Playwrights Studio.
And I'm Molly Breen, co-founder, program coordinator, and producer at TPS.
We're both delighted to welcome you to our virtual reading festival. For the past year, 6 playwriting fellows from across the state have been working on brand new scripts. Because of the pandemic, we were only able to meet in person twice. Thanks to technology, however, we were able to continue our workshops and rehearsals virtually. Here are the results. What you'll be experiencing tonight is a working draft. Your input is a vital part of this process, so during the reading, feel free to use the chat function to make comments or pose a question for the playwright. Afterward, we'll use your feedback as the foundation for a talkback with the artist, so be sure to stick around. Again, thanks for stopping by to be a part of this brand new show.
And now for a special announcement. As a new works-focused playwright development lab and production company, TPS recognizes that the overwhelming majority of new works by Nashville playwrights in the past 20 years have been produced by Black-owned theater companies. These companies have consistently created original theater, as well as countless opportunities and training grounds for actors, directors, stage managers, playwrights, and other artists in Nashville. Further, these companies have created and achieved artistic milestones in the face of systemic racism and lack of similar access to institutions and fiscal resources provided to non-Black-owned companies.
With this in mind, we're pleased to announce a partnership between TPS and 2 of the most productive and dynamic Black-owned theater companies in Nashville, the Destiny Theater Experience and Sista Style Productions. We look forward to collaborating in the production of new works that develop from all 3 of our companies.
Further, we pledge that for every dollar that is donated to TPS, the co-founders of TPS will personally match 50% of the amount of said donation, and this match amount will be divided equally between Sista Style and the Destiny Theater Experience.
Finally, we're excited to announce that TPS has been granted a physical sponsorship through Fractured Atlas, which will allow your donations and corporate sponsorships to be tax deductible. Please visit our website if you wish to donate and help Tennessee playwrights develop and produce their work. Take a look at us at tmplaywrights.org.
SANDBAGS by Caitlin Myers. The time and the place move like fast, high, muddy waters. Objects get destroyed and put together and destroyed again. The setting is contained within a space that functions as Gloria's apartment, a bar called The Whip, a courtroom, and Rosie's family land, among others. All the things that are built in that space, the tree sit, etc., should be built from objects that are already in the space, such as furniture, a mattress, etc.
Melinda Sewak, reading for Gloria.
Miranda Pepin, reading for Rosie.
Tony Nappo, reading for Bugs.
Ted Welch, reading for Tex.
Liggera Edmonds-Allen, reading for Little Bird.
Act 1. Gloria on stage, the wind lifting her hair. Rosie steps next to her and the wind lifts her hair too. They seem tense. They do not look at each other. Rosie slowly raises her rifle. She raises it to the ceiling. There's a little table next to them with a little glass flower pot on it. She brings it down. She smashes it on the table. The flower pot shatters.
Everything must go.
Tex, Little Bird, and Bugs dash on stage, crushing the flower.
Everything must go.
Go.
Rosie dashes on with a rifle, lays down on the floor, and shoots something that shatters loudly.
Bang went the mirror. The couch fell over. The bullet sprayed in one end and out the other and drug all the stuffing with it.
Bang! There went Rosie on her elbows again, with her shotgun out in front of her and her whole body narrow and focused and tight. Her hair was tucked up in her trucker hat and coming undone.
This is it, thought Gloria. There goes the rug.
The rug that was pulled from under their feet is stretched between 2 poles and is getting frayed little holes blown in it. The dirty mattress erupting fluff everywhere.
Good riddance. Should I shoot the house?
Rosie,
Just let her do it, Gloria.
Everybody out of the house!
Rosie shoots a window out. She gets up and walks around to shoot another one. She walks in a square and shoots all the windows out from all sides of the house. Sounds of breaking glass. Rosie doesn't smile, but she still looks satisfied. Everyone else grabs things and begins to tear them apart in their own way.
that night we lit it all up. We burned the couch Little Bird had found by the roadside, the poor destroyed mattress, the wooden tables, and chairs that went up like they were put on earth to give light. Leave nothing, not a thing.
They smash furniture, break it into pieces. Little Bird, Gloria, Rosie, and Bugs heave metal and wood and scraps onto the fire and light it up, and Rosie laughs. They all pose seductively around it for a couple of pictures that Tex takes on his phone.
It's probably not good for us to breathe this stuff in.
Who cares? We're all gonna die anyway.
If we were going to leave this place, we might as well do it right. I guess that's how Rosie felt.
Rosie grabs Gloria's hands and dances with her around the fire. Bugs takes his guitar and noodles around on it. Little Bird lights up a joint and starts to pass it around.
Sing us a song, Bugs.
Sing a song.
Ted gave me a ride back to Omaha. He said, be careful now. Ned said he was a grower, but I'd have fucked him anyhow. I miss those cornfield boys out on the old Nebraska plain. They're always saying please and thank you. And darling, what's your name? My dad said I'm going to hell, and I think I'll take you too. We'll squat in Satan's mansion and eat all his fancy food. Honeybee will like the heat. This old world's so cold. Never see our pious dads again, or grow sick and gross and old. Well, it's not better or worse now that I'm down south. It's more or less the same. But make some noise for corny prairie boys on the big wide open plain. Prairie boys make noise. Prairie boys make noise.
Wolfer's got nothing on your farts.
Tex finishes the spliff and crushes it under his boot. He tosses a six-pack into the circle and takes a beer from it.
We should stay.
They all laugh except her.
What if we stuck it out and stayed?
They're going to come in worse this time. It's too dangerous. Look, we're not wrapping things up. We're just transforming how we fight.
You sound like me. Let's talk about something else.
Bugs starts to sing again, an upbeat song. Little Bird takes out a kazoo and blows along.
Bugs had such a pretty voice. I remember that most, even though his songs were dumb. His voice was like the wind whistling through cattails. He was from Michigan, I think, but he always changed which part of the Midwest he was from, depending on who he was talking to.
They all fall into the grass laughing. Bugs kisses Gloria, and then Rosie, and then Tex, and then Little Bird.
Let's do some affirmations. I'm going to compliment all of you. Tex, you're so good with your hands, if you know what I mean. But also, you're such a great mechanic. Rosie, you scare me.
Good.
Little Bird, you have such pretty eyes. Gloria,
Come on.
you're ripped. You have strong shoulders and you're kind.
Thanks.
Bugs, you're a lazy, huge piece of shit. What? I love that about me. I do. Okay, we're done.
We sang all night into the blue morning. We drank so much. We were so high. At some point, I fell asleep. The air was thick and sweet and kind of poison. I slept in the grass. The back of my neck stung the next day. We had to wake early and leave quickly. The revels were ended. The spirits melted into air.
Everyone takes a step back except Rosie.
When I was making my coffee this morning, I thought about the way the wind used to shake the cattails. When I went to work, I thought about the big magnolia tree and the dust coming off the gravel drive. When I came home, I was so tired, but I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned. I dreamed about my mother. She was inside one of the broken windows in the house. She leaned out of it with her fingers on the glass. They were cutting her, the shards, but she didn't notice. She called out to me across the drive as I was walking up. She told me to come home. I stepped toward her. Then she changed her mind and told me to stay away. You gave it up, she said. You lost your right to it.
You didn't give it up. The land.
The land.
The land.
Gave it up.
The land. It doesn't matter. It's gone. I miss having a yard. My apartment is shrinking. I know it's maybe just in my imagination, but it gets smaller every single day.
I wish you could come down here.
I don't have the time. I'm busy.
Busy doing what? Talking shit on everyone you meet? Have you made a single friend?
Oh, fuck you.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Come home.
Gloria lives alone in the house we used to share.
Gloria never left, even though she could have. And we did.
It's still cheap enough to live alone down here. You can stay and live an easy life off not much if you don't have kids or health problems. Oh yeah, if you've got a dad with money that loves you. If you have that, as usual, you can do what you want.
The wind starts to whistle.
Here's Gloria in her house.
Gloria turns her back to us. She's in her apartment, which has one window, one chair, a radio, and a stove. She's wearing a t-shirt and a pair of boxers, and her hair spills wild over her shoulder. One hand is on a spatula, which she's using to make pancakes. She reaches out and turns the dial up on the radio. An 80s power ballad comes out of it. She puts on water and dances until it boils. She grinds coffee loudly and throws it in a French press, and when the water boils, she pours it in. The window rattles and she checks it anxiously. The music changes to a radio broadcast. The wind can be heard outside. High winds tonight. There's a weather advisory in effect from noon today through 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Caution advised when traveling roadways. Reports of flooding in coastal areas. If you are in a flood zone, do not drive. Stay put until help comes.
Jesus Christ.
She turns the radio off. She pours the coffee into a cup, drinks it without eating breakfast, and sits absent-mindedly in a chair, checking her phone. She calls a couple of numbers, but they don't pick up. Finally, one does.
Hey, do you know if we're open today? Are you kidding me? No one's gonna come in. We won't make a fucking cent. Yeah, I guess. The news always makes a big deal out of it, and 9 times out of 10, it's just a little storm. This is stupid. Yeah. I'll try to enjoy myself. How bad do you think it's gonna be? Really? Okay, yeah. Do you need anything? Are you evacuating?
You want people to come over. You don't want to be alone.
I'm all out of medical supplies and food.
I always told you to keep a go bag on hand.
Rosie, you're so paranoid.
You're not thinking.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Gloria looks out the window, sighs, and puts on a pair of pants that's been lying on the floor.
Think I'll beat the storm?
Nobody answers. Gloria gets ready to go. All the others join her and they face the audience.
It's been hard lately for me to remember everything in the right order.
It all feels like it just happened, but it's starting to be a long time ago.
You remember bits and pieces of things? You remember flashes of color and sound, things that were said to you that really, really hurt, like this.
You won't have peace, Gloria. There is no peace. And if you want it, this is the last place to look. This is my boundary between you and me, and I am setting it. So go.
Or this.
I'm telling you, if you do not get into some kind of program and deal with your shit, you're gonna die, man. We can't help you anymore.
What program? Where? Please, Gloria, tell me. Show me. Get your dad to pay for it, why don't you?
Gloria can hurt people without even trying. She never tries. She's so kind. She hurts you just by being there.
Gloria.
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 I'm just trying to help.
Gloria and Rosie in the good times.
Gloria dropped out of college because she forgot to take her Zoloft for 3 months, and it rewired her brain completely, just zapped her out of everything. She bided time by working at a bar called The Whip, and she was bored to tears.
When she got off, she'd drive. She drove around and around and around and around and read articles on her phone while she was driving like an idiot.
It was storm season, but like it is now. We were just coming off a bad one the last year where my basement got all flooded out. But this year had been milder and we felt like we could breathe a little. I was even biking to work. I worked all the time. I thought I was saving up to go to France. On nights when there was no show, the place was pretty dead. And even though I didn't make much money, I could get away with taking long smoke breaks and generally just hanging around. On a night like that, when I was working alone, a bunch of scruffy people came in all together.
Gloria pours Tex a beer as he comes to the bar.
Looks like a storm's a-coming.
Just a little rain. You're not from here, are you?
Nope, California. I like the rain.
You'll be sick of it by September.
Yeah.
Tex takes his leave.
They kept coming to the Whip, sometimes on Mondays, usually on Fridays. A slightly different crew each time. Wild bunch. Bad mullets, lots of tattoos, mostly of bones and plants.
Little Bird comes up to Gloria with a bunch of little squares of printed paper.
Hey, we're doing this thing. Can I leave these flyers on the bar for folks to take?
Sure. What's going on? A protest? Also, I'm Gloria.
Little Bird. Yeah. Saturday by the municipal court. What's your pronouns?
She, her. They're just building a gas pipeline on the bayou? Fuck that. Just right through people's houses? Sorry, what are your pronouns? I didn't ask.
They, them. Thanks for asking. Yeah, on stolen land, Black and Native land. But there's been a lot of good work going on, making a little trouble, you know? You should come if you want. I'll be handing out snacks.
Sure, I'd love to. I bought like $40 worth of granola bars and water to hand out and rolled up right next to Little Bird. I think they liked that.
The light changes to day. Rosie walks on stage with a megaphone. Little Bird and Gloria watch.
Repeat after me now, okay? I'm gonna teach y'all some chants. When our land is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When our land is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our land is under attack, what do?
Stand up,
Stand up, fight back.
I love you all. You are my community. You showed up for each other today. Thank you. And we're not gonna stop. We're gonna stand in the way till they give up. Because there ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people don't stop. There ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people don't stop. Say what?
Ain't no
power
like the power of the people, and the power of the people don't stop.
Rosie takes her mouth from the megaphone and smiles magnificently and steps out of the spotlight.
Hey, Gloria. It was nice to meet you. Thanks for your help.
No problem. Hey, can I come out and help out on the land?
Yeah. I mean, I'll need to ask Rosie. The others might get mad at me, but like, we need people right now. And it's cool to see someone so into it. You can get jaded after a while, you know? Just expect to work hard when you get there.
Little Bird called me the next day and said it was good. I could come, but I'd have to pitch in and work hard. Man, I drove right out there the first day off I got. Little Bird told me how to get there. There was an address. It was all the way out of town, an hour from the nearest parish, a little in from the coast. So green in the summertime and hot. It was hillier than a lot of the Gulf Coast, and you had to turn up a gravel drive. It ate up my tires every time. The land?
40 acres. The Spanish moss has always been my favorite part. Gives us privacy, makes us look spooky. All over the land, I've been doing little projects, mostly growing herbs. I make tinctures and salves. I can teach you how if you want. House is rickety, but we're doing repairs. There are about 5 to 10 people here at any time, give or take. Rosie always said all she needed to shut shit down were 5 to 10 good friends and a pair of pliers.
Everyone comes on stage except Bugs. They reassemble the decimated furniture into something that looks approximately like its old self and start looking busy. Gloria and Tex enter. Gloria is clearly the odd one out, off to the side. Rosie notices her and lets her take it all in for a little while.
This is Gloria. She's interested in camping out here for a little.
Tex is cleaning the kitchen if you want to help.
Gloria slowly walks through the mess of people. Maps on the floor, bits of PVC pipe, Little Bird on their hands and knees scrubbing.
Is that blood on the floor?
Yeah, we got a roadkill deer and had to chop it up and save the meat. Got a little messy. Good thing it's linoleum.
Wow, I've only ever eaten meat from the store.
Well, I can show you how to gut it if you want. It's not hard if you're willing to get dirty.
Can I camp out tonight?
Sure, if you want. You can stay in the house with a radio, or you can come pitch a tent further out in the pipeline easement closer to construction on the northeast corner of the land. That's a bit risky, but we don't get bothered. Not yet. We're just starting out.
Is the house in the easement?
A corner of it. They won't tear it up. Like I said, not yet. We're thinking about that, of course, what happens when they want to, but not yet.
I liked sleeping outside. The northeast corner was by the water where the trees stood taller, big and old, mostly pine. And the house was Rosie's domain, her space. You had to be invited, or at least it felt that way.
Rosie.
Rosie.
All set up camp slowly in a dusky light. Rosie comes to the fore. Gloria sets up the bar that she works at in the present day behind them.
I thought about quitting my job at the Whip about a day before I did it. They were just starting out, Little Bird said, so they still needed things: an outdoor kitchen for the easement, tents and tarps and ropes and bungee cords and carabiners. I took my last paycheck to the Goodwill, though when I returned with armfuls of kitchenware, I got some looks that said, "What, you couldn't get that for free?"
Gloria took a while to get that we didn't have a lot of money to go around. At first, we lived on food from the grocery store dumpster and donations, but Rosie was talking to people, spreading the word, and everything got bigger.
Rosie keeps us on track.
My neighbors thought I was crazy for a long time. Coming back here to this old place? My father died here. My mother left but couldn't bear to sell it. My aunts abandoned it for the city. People do that. They leave behind the thing that made them, but not me.
But they all knew Rosie was special from when she was 4 years old. She was always the loudest and the biggest and the first to jump off the bluffs into the river. And she was a fighter. The other kids liked that.
She ran a group of those kids around the swamp, and when she told them to smear mud on their faces, they did it. And when she told them to hit each other, they did it. And when she got into fights, she always won because she was a bad loser.
I won because I can fight, dickhead.
I miss you. It's not Rosie's fault. To see her is to want to please her.
The moment you break her shell and she talks to you, really talks to you, it's golden. For me, it was a hot summer day at camp and we were moving the shitter.
Everyone gets down low like they're moving a heavy square object.
No plumbing out here, and our septic is not working, so we built the compost shitter from scratch. But we had to keep digging out holes in the ground and moving it from place to place.
The wandering shitter. I invented it.
1, 2, 3, turn! Okay, now lean towards me. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
They heave.
Some local kids had come to visit us that day. They didn't help, just stared mostly.
Move! And lower onto the ground. Lower it. Lower it. Okay.
She'd not really given me the time of day before, and I always felt on edge around her, but she saw me that day. Guess I finally put in the work.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm heading back to the house for a beer. Come with me?
Sure.
Gloria and Rosie take a walk.
I have these recurring dreams. Little Bird's had them too.
Later in the night, we stayed up and watched the sunset from the house. Some of us slept in the house and watched it. Some of us slept in the tents in the way of the pipeline. It just depended on the day. What kind of dream?
I'm sitting out in the yard and it's sunny and bright. Then the clouds chase over everything. I hear a rumbling sound and it's tanks coming up over the hill. I can see them one by one, an endless line of them. And I look over the hill and down into the floodplain and they're lining the streets and the wind is shaking the house until bits of it fall off and the clouds chase over the sun. And I think we're not ready.
Not ready for what?
Or I have another dream, one where it's summertime, but the trees don't grow leaves. I just walk outside and I know everything's dead.
They're just dreams.
Rosie looks at Gloria a little sadly. Gloria looks back. Rosie and Gloria look at each other and they can't stop looking. They kiss. They go to the back room.
She let me in.
Tex wanders in only to hear sex noises coming from the back. He shrugs and lies in a chair with his hat over his face.
Now at camp, there's no privacy. You'd be woken at night, called on while you're taking your peaceful morning poop to help deal with a crisis. Security breach usually. We witnessed each other's most private and intimate rituals. And then there was the visitors.
I can't take it, Gloria. The nonprofits and the do-gooders with cash on their hands, all trying to give their money to the biggest sob story they can find. And don't get me started on the volunteers. They all want to tell me about how they read the books on white privilege and they're here to atone for something, like I'm their priest, like I'm their penance. They want to confess to me. What am I supposed to say? Thanks?
Rosie always started taking Gloria around to meetings, even when she didn't need to be at. Gloria always agreed with whatever Rosie said.
Just tell them to move the shitter.
Rosie laughs and she and Gloria make out.
A lot of history I could have told that kid, but some things just aren't your business.
We don't have to put names on what we are. I'm just saying you mean a lot to me. But I don't own you, you know?
At first, when she said that, it made me sad. When Bugs came, though, it didn't seem like the worst idea.
Sure ain't.
Bugs wanders on stage with his guitar.
Bugs comes to camp.
Bugs!
Bugs.
Bugs!
Bugs always wanted to live out on some land.
My sweet little friend from the West Coast, still finding himself, you know? I knew he'd like it out here in the cattails.
Another one of Little Bird's goddamn strays. I think he was hit in the head one too many times when he was out riding trains. But Little Bird said he'd throw down like nobody else, so then he was here too. Him and his projects.
Bugs gets under something like he's fixing a truck.
Someday, this truck is going to run on vegetable oil from Chinese restaurants. I'll never have to use a gas station again. It'll be the camp truck. So totally self-sufficient. And after that, I'm thinking I'm going to build a shed right there.
That's pretty neat.
You gonna finish this time? I'll help you, you know?
Nah, I'm good.
I've always wanted to learn how to fix cars. Can I see?
Yeah.
She gets under the car with him. They lie there with their heads next to each other.
Will it make your exhaust smell like fries?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Don't leave all your damn tools in the yard, Bugs. I don't have a tetanus shot.
We ditched the truck and went on a walk with his dog to get away from Rosie, who was on a tear that morning because she just quit smoking again. Well, I don't know. His dog licked my face, and then his dog licked his face, and then it just seemed like, you know.
Gloria and Bugs kiss. Gloria fake hits him to break the tension. They start sparring. They both punch each other too hard and cringe and fall to the ground laughing. They kiss again. They grab hands and run to the side where they make out ecstatically. Bugs leaves his tools in the yard.
Rosie said it was okay.
Yes, but him?
Gloria loved it. All of it. Oh, she could feel with every layer of dirt on her face the pure and true thing her life was becoming. She'd come across this poem ladder and it would always remind her of camp.
They all split up, doing camp tasks. Little Bird cooking, Bugs and Rosie looking over a map, Tex on his computer, pencil in his teeth, Gloria smiling, remembering.
I will arise now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made.
9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade.
And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings.
There, midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings.
Gloria polishes a glass or two and listens to the locusts.
I will arise and go now, for always night and day. I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core.
Gloria fumbles with the glass and Rosie goes to help her in the authoritative way she has, like she'd rather do it for you than see you waste time failing.
I never went back to school.
We filled up. We tried to keep tabs on who was coming and going, but sometimes your friend's cousin needed a place to stay, and how could you say no? And in the morning, said cousin had found Rosie's weed and smoked it, and he didn't have a car, so how could he drive out to get more? And he did a little work, but mostly just walked around or lay on the couch.
He's such a waste of space. He spilled some bleach the other day and waited around while the dogs lapped it up. They could have died. And we needed that bleach. It ain't cheap. Little Bird, this isn't like a crash pad.
He needed a place to be. He cleaned the gutters, which was very helpful. If you need him to leave, just tell him. He'll go.
Rosie doesn't answer. Bugs saunters up with a beer in his hand.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but.
He drinks and takes Gloria's hand and gives her a beer. They laugh and drink and smash the bottles.
I think he'll take it better from Gloria. I'll ask her.
See Gloria at work. She clocks in but has to clock out for half an hour for dinner. Only she doesn't eat, just smokes. Back at the whip, they'll always take her back. It's not raining yet. There's still sunshine in a corner of the sky.
Gloria did what Rosie asked. It wasn't pleasant, but she was so nice that he took it well and left. Gloria did what she had to do to keep herself in good stead.
Gloria sweeps up the bottles.
So if you want to
wanna
know about life at camp,
we got in fights and played music and ate a lot of chili beans.
Little Bird sets up a cooking station. Gloria grates some cheese. Tex starts defrosting meat in the sink. Bugs pops a can of light beer and drinks it. Rosie sits frowning at a map and gets a call and walks outside to take it. Bugs turns on a radio and some old folk country songs come out of it. He knows the song and hums along to it at parts. He sees everyone looking busy and turns it down for a moment.
What can I do to help?
you can do dishes if you want. Dinner's almost ready.
Wow, that smells so fucking good.
Cacio e pepe. Honestly, just spaghetti and garlic and butter with a little spaghetti water can serve to thicken it up. Pepper, parmesan.
Little Bird often left camp to go from place to place and support big protests with a pot of rice and beans and a coffee dispenser. They cooked to feed as many people as possible on as little money as they could. They did it out of pocket, made money a bunch of ways. They had a very popular OnlyFans account, top 1% apparently. Little did the horny people of the nation know they were feeding the movement.
Come and get it.
Everybody fills up and sits on the floor. Rosie returns and goes back to the map without eating. They sit like this for a little, listening to the soft music coming out of the radio.
I'll pitch in tomorrow.
It was nice to not be the newest anymore, even though I still had the least experience.
So, y'all met in Birmingham? Hey, you look familiar. I'm just trying to place you.
When the tornado hit Birmingham, I went out there with a little crew, and Bugs came back east from New Mexico to help. It fucked up a whole neighborhood. We made 500 burritos with a little help from my camp stove and gave them away out of my truck.
You from Alabama?
Nah, kind of near Wisconsin.
When did y'all meet? You and Little Bird.
We cooked together a little while ago at the anti-strip mine marches on the Dene Reservation.
I heard the elders on the res are hard to please, always giving you permission to see rituals and then taking it away when you fart in church.
It's not a church, man. Well, it wasn't about me or what I could see. I was just there to support them.
Oh, yeah. Well, glad you came through.
Rosie puts aside her computer.
So, here's the task I'm thinking of for this week. Little Bird, will you help me if I miss anything? Somebody needs to go knock doors and flyer in town. We really need to be able to fill the courthouse on September 20th so we can contest this shit. And I don't want it to be all people from the city who drove an hour to get here. We'll need someone to do some research too and push the fundraiser.
Well, I can make some flyers and knock some doors. I haven't really done it before.
Wait till we're done. Little Bird, anything else?
There's a ton of housekeeping tasks like food, fixing the gutter on the house, and changing the oil on the camp truck, and security, someone out on the gravel drive to keep watch at night. We got some errands to get done in town. I was going to do those tomorrow.
I don't care to keep watch.
I can fix stuff, no problem.
Cool. I'll coordinate the outreach team with Gloria.
Alrighty then, we're set. I'll put it on the whiteboard.
Can y'all put your phones away, actually? We have some more sensitive shit to talk about.
Tex collects all phones and puts them in the microwave. Everyone nods and huddles in while Rosie lays out the map and speaks quietly with them.
So I'm not sure how much y'all know. I've spoken with Little Bird about it. Construction is creeping in this direction, and they've already ripped some of the swamp north of here. We need to slow it down and cost them a shit ton of money doing it, okay? And by the way, don't talk to people about this. We're going to operate on a need-to-know basis. If you're not a part of the action, you do not need to know the plans. You understand? That keeps all of us safe.
Well, I got excited once or twice and told a friend back home, but just the broad outlines.
But Rosie always knew Gloria was sloppy.
Rosie finishes up and gets out a pack of cigarettes from her pocket. She puts one between her teeth and she rolls up the map. She steps outside. Little Bird begins to clean, singing softly. The song is All the Best by John Prine.
I miss how big and bright the stars were out there. It didn't matter sometimes when the power was out. You didn't need a candle to see by.
I wish you love and happiness. I guess I wish you all the best. I wish you don't do like I do and ever fall in love with someone like you.
Late August, 5 years ago, almost 6 now. My time as a person of action, if it has an astrological sign, would be a Leo. Though, of course, astrology is fake and I don't believe in it any longer. But if astrology was real, it would be a Leo, roaring out of the dark of my adolescence, a fire sign.
But if you do just like I did, guess you'd run around the block like a little kid. But you don't know, you can only guess how hard it is to wish you happiness.
Bugs picks out the melody and pops another beer and drinks it. He looks around for something to do, and Little Bird gives him a wash rag and they wash the counters together.
Big trees everywhere here. The bald cypress down in the lowlands where the roots flared out like elephant feet before sinking into the muck.
And in the quiet, you forget how much is happening. The pipeline was getting closer, coming in towards the national forest and on towards us. And it was time to do the thing we always said we were going to do.
So we tried plan A.
Bugs
climbs a
climbs a tree.
We could see when we drove into town the security guards and construction guys going to the barbecue to get themselves a pork sandwich during their lunch break. We researched the shit out of them, that they knew about us too. They offered to buy Rosie out.
Now, we'd been training for this for a while, and Bugs and I would go out to the bluffs by the river with climbing equipment to try it out so they knew they could do it. I'd seen it done out in the redwood forest in California.
They all take some pieces of the set and begin to stack them one atop the other till there's a ladder of sorts, or perhaps a pyramid. At the top is a place to sleep and buckets. Bugs begins to climb it as the others help him. Gloria holds his hand as long as she can until he lets it go. He climbs up and up and up beyond their reach. His guitar is strapped on his back. He continues the song Little Bird was singing under his breath as he sets up his tree sit.
I guess that love is like a Christmas card. You decorate a tree, you throw it in the yard. It decays and dies, and the snowmen melt. Yeah, I knew love, knew how love felt. Yeah, I knew love, and love knew me. And when I walked, love walked with me. And I got no hate, and I got no pride. Yeah, I got so much love that I cannot hide. Yeah, I got so much love that I cannot hide.
The sound of locusts comes in a slow wave. Bugs folds his hands behind his head and dangles his feet from the tree. He's up above everyone else in the canopy. The light is soft and green and patterned on his face, and fireflies hum in and out around him.
Anything you need, just radio down, okay? If things don't feel safe, just radio down.
Gloria smiles and talks into her radio.
Dear Bugs, I hope the weather's nice up there. But I see 3 pipeline security guys up the hill. They're not doing anything, just watching.
Dear Gloria, I ain't scared. I've been hit by bigger pigs than these. Besides, I'm shitting in a bucket. Think they've ever done that for something they believed in? I'm tougher than they are by 10 miles.
Dear Bugs, I hear bidets are the way to go. It's like a little faucet for your butt. Sounds bougie, but they're $30 on the internet.
Dear Gloria, $30 is a lot of money. Buy me 30 cans of chili beans for dinner and we'll call it even.
We still have 15 cans of chili beans.
Bugs lowers a bucket down and Rosie hauls a bucket back up. Night falls. Gloria and Rosie huddle together reading. Rosie goes to sleep. Gloria listens to her radio.
Dear Gloria, where I grew up, we didn't have trees this big. Just endless flat land and sky as far as you could see. Feel claustrophobic in here sometimes. Like I can't see anything, but everything is looking at me. Then other times I think about how safe and cloistered it is. Like I'm in a big protective hammock. Oh shit!
What? What?
That's a huge snake. Okay. But not poisonous, I think. In the tree. Jesus dicks!
Tell me about before we met. What were you doing?
A lot of opiates. I can hardly remember being 17 at all. I had a drum set and a crush on Jenny and a crush on Mike. I almost died once driving my car into a tree after a show. I got into a fight at the rock quarry and won.
How about after that?
I met Rosie and Little Bird out in Arizona before they decided to come on back here. We got on well. I didn't like it out there. Never rained.
Don't forget to tell him about security.
Yeah. Oh, be careful. The pipeline security rolled up this morning and asked us a lot of questions. They can't legally do anything on Rosie's land, at least not yet, but I think they're willing to see how far they can push it. There were more of them today.
And the storm. Listen, Bugs, it's just a regular old thunderstorm, but if you need to switch out, all right?
Bugs starts doing push-ups.
I'll be fine.
He'd been up there a few weeks when the first cold fronts rolled in to announce the end of summertime. Everything became electric in the change of seasons. The end of summertime used to be September, but it's later now, by weeks and weeks.
The storm begins. Gloria looks out at us with the wind whipping her hair. Rosie closes all the windows. Bugs holds fast to his pod. He quietly takes out a bottle of vodka and drinks from it. He's not supposed to have it up there. He tries to light a cigarette, but the wind blows it out. Little Bird and Tex rattle the pod like wind. Lightning flashes.
When I was a kid, a tornado started in my backyard. Just a little wisp. My parents told me to get down below, but I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It sucked all the color out of the sky and all the sound and all the movement. It became the only thing with sound, the only thing with movement left. I thought, what a way to die. To get swept up in a tornado and never be seen again like a character in a tall tale. But it circled my house twice and went off to wreak destruction somewhere else. We were spared that year and the next one. And the next one, my county didn't even get a tornado. But the fourth year, everything leveled completely. We had to move to my grandma's. Can't get lucky forever. At least none of us died.
Bugs tries the radio. He takes another quick swig from his flask.
Dear Gloria, I've seen some bad storms up here, but this one's the worst.
Dear Bugs, I know, but if you leave, they'll cut the tree down and restart construction, and we'll have to start this over again.
Rosie sits next to her.
Bugs, I'm looking at the radar. The worst of it will pass in 15 minutes.
I never said I wanted to leave. I'm doing fine, just taking note.
Okay.
Bugs puts the radio down and holds his hands over his head. The pod rattles and the wind blows, then dies.
Morning always brought some fresh hell. You'd wake up and forget there was anything but the beautiful blue morning wrapped in river fog. Then the bullhorn would start up and you'd peer over the platform to see all the construction workers arrayed below.
Bugs rolls a banner down so all can see. It says, Bayou Pipeline Resistance, Day 67. A voice comes out from beyond the trees. It's played by Tex.
This is security, sir. We're asking you that you please come down and surrender yourself. You are trespassing.
And I would come out to explain every time We were on generational land. And furthermore, beyond that, beyond the connection of any one person to any one piece of turf, they had no right to tear down a piece of the complex and beautiful ecology that connected us to one another and gave us all the gift of life. They laughed in our faces and honked their horns at us, but they didn't cut the tree down. Not yet. The reporters were starting to come, and that kept them wary. The reporters didn't always ask the right questions, but at least they came.
Little Bird takes out a notepad and puts on a headset.
I always ask reporters to send my quotes back to me before anything goes to print, so I can make sure they didn't twist my words.
Miss Navarra, I would love to hear you talk a little about yourself. What brought you to obstruct this pipeline?
My family owned this land for a long time. We took care of each other on it. Even when we weren't kind to each other, we took care of each other.
Is there a reason you're not fighting this in court? Why live this way? Why not protest peacefully?
We haven't hurt a soul. They're fixing to destroy our drinking water and the soil that feeds us. If our fight isn't about peace, I'm not sure what is.
But the pipeline is already 90% built. Why stop it here?
We'll stop it at whatever point we can. And if this is where it has to happen, this is where it has to happen.
Do you think you can win?
I can't think any other way.
2 months in, security stopped us from bringing Bugs food.
How you doing up there?
I'm hungry because you won't let me eat.
There was another storm and we wanted to get him some more gear, but they wouldn't let us do that. And we just had to hope he wasn't getting hypothermic up there all alone.
I can live on a jar of peanut butter for weeks. I'll be fine.
A week later, he ran out of peanut butter.
Are you going to cooperate, Mr. Thornton?
Sir, you have to allow us to give him food. If you won't respect his life, at least respect that he is on the Navarra family's private property.
He is trespassing on company property, sweetie.
Sounds of a chainsaw.
You can't!
They're faking it. They're bluffing.
Are you going to bet his life on it?
Turned out we didn't have to. They got a cherry picker and plucked him out of the tree like a piece of fruit.
Tex wrestles Bugs to the ground and puts handcuffs on him, then tosses him in the seat.
Jacob S. Thornton III has reported to the Waller County Regional Jail for what he says is the first time, though he does have a prior record unrelated to the Gulf Coast pipeline. He is requesting to be his own defendant.
I have been very good and compliant while in jail. I have a part-time job as a house painter, and I'm planning to apply for school in the fall. I come from a nice family up in Michigan, and they're all practicing Christians and attend church regularly. I also attended church regularly until this year and believe returning to Christ will greatly benefit my emotional health and stability.
Bugs is removed from the cuffs, exits his seat, and walks off stage. Tex walks him back a moment later with cuffs back on. Bugs looks pleased with himself.
After chaining himself to a bulldozer, Jacob S. Thornton III requested to defend himself in court for the 4th time.
I have a child on the way and need to be home to take care of my girlfriend. We're getting married, though. I will attend every anger management class faithfully and conduct all community service hours as required.
Bugs has walked off and walked back on, same as before, but with a different affect.
After blockading the road to the pipeline easement with 6 logs, Jacob S. Thornton III is defending himself for what he says is the 6th time.
I'm asking that the judge allow me to leave to protect my personal safety. Thank you. Either that or transfer me to the prison and get me out of this jail. That's all.
They beat Bugs up that time. We knew he'd had trouble in there before, but he could usually handle himself. I don't know what happened. He never said. Just came out with a fucked up face.
Well, you can't punch back if you want to get out.
That night, when I drove to the mail to pick him up and give him a cigarette to smoke, I felt guilty. He wasn't speaking much, except Little Bird, who put some of their tinctures on his black eye. We took a long walk through the woods, and I tried to be nicer to him.
I'm fine. Really. Nobody ever says jail is fun. I can handle it.
Listen, you always put yourself on the line, and I'm grateful. I don't think I say that often.
I don't think you're ungrateful, and you always bail me out.
Bugs called himself cannon fodder sometimes.
This is what I'm good at. And when I came home like a hero,
That was badass. When they tried to get you out of the bulldozer and you just like hooked your foot in there.
Defending yourself in court is so tough. I could never do it.
Oh my God, that really is a black eye. War wounds.
They grin at him and ruffle his hair and start a fire. The beer opens and the party begins. Bugs and Rosie get very close.
I don't know. We fucked, I guess. We fucked on and off for a few months. Gloria knew, but she had to be okay with it. I asked her, and she said it was fine.
Rosie and Bugs don't kiss on the mouth, but they fall down on the mattress and roll around. Bugs pauses with his hair all mussed up and looks back at us.
in retrospect, it might have made things easier if none of us had sex, like ever. Just completely swore it off. Hate sex, honestly. Not having it, but having had it. I could be a monk. I could be a pious monk.
After a while, Rosie puts on a big shirt and goes back out to join Little Bird and Tex by the fire. Little Bird looks like they're about to cry.
Little B, you all right?
It's no problem.
No, tell me.
Little Bird glares at Tex.
Little Bird's mad about something transphobic again.
I didn't ask you to speak for me.
Well, what did you expect? The towns around here are conservative. Like, I'm not against you being trans, buddy. But like, look, I'm just speaking truth here. You don't want to be treated like a weirdo? Don't dress like one.
I'm not your buddy. You are on thin fucking ice right now.
Can you please tell me what happened so I know who I need to beat up?
I just went to have tea at Grandma Moses's place to see if she'd come out to court for Bugs, and she just, I guess I'd always went with someone else. I just showed up. This was the first time she didn't want anything to do with it, with us.
I should have gone with you. She'd have come if I was there. She just doesn't trust people she didn't know as babies.
No, you don't understand. It's about the way she looked at me. She and her friends, that cold, hard stare. She said she thought we were starting to make too much of a scene. She thought we were hurting them. Just, I think she said the papers would like it more if we stopped. And then her friend there on the porch asked if I'd accepted the savior, because it sure looked like I hadn't. And maybe that'd be a good start. Just looking me up and down and making it obvious what she thought.
Well, she doesn't speak for everybody, and I'm going to have a word with her.
I'm going to be honest. I think you probably misread the situation. I mean, this ain't New Orleans.
I have been in that situation a million times.
I swear to God, Little Bird thinks everything is a personal attack against them. You think revolutionaries that won real fights, used to shave half their heads and then cry because a rural grandmother thought it looked stupid?
You know what? Don't worry about talking to her. I'll talk to her myself. I'm going to take a walk.
Little Bird storms off. Rosie throws Tex a disgusted look and leaves too. He sits by the fire, arms crossed.
Shit got real tense all of a sudden in the second summer after they beat Bugs up in jail.
Bugs is woken by roving searchlights and blasting music.
They wouldn't let us sleep.
How fucked up do you have to be to want so badly to make someone's life miserable?
I stopped asking that kind of question a long time ago, I used to think maybe there's a good reason. At this point, it doesn't matter.
all everyone does is let Rosie tell them what to do. Rosie, Rosie, Rosie. Like none of us get a say around here.
Tex, it's literally her land. And you know the sheriff hates her. He'll fuck her up if he gets the chance.
Oh, and just because I'm a white man, I won't get arrested? I'm sick of this identity bullshit. The cops will beat up anybody. You see how they did Bugs.
Not saying that.
At least stand and fight. All we do is turn ourselves in and pay court fees. We literally pay the court all the time.
Tex
says he's ready for a fight.
Waller County must love us right now. I mean, we're practically bankrolling them.
Look, Tex, I don't like it either, but we can't ask people to resist arrest. They'll just get their ass kicked and more jail time.
Gloria told me once that she thought I seemed hungry. I said, yes, always. She said, no, not like that. She said,
hungry for shit to go down.
I don't invite the violence, if that's what you mean.
What's that you've said before?
I'm strapped. I have my hunting rifle, my little pistol, my other pistol, my big knife, my one boot, my little knife mother boot. You name it, I know how to use it. If shit were to really, really go down, I'd be on the front lines. And where would you be, huh? Turning yourself in?
I'm done having a white man with a gun at this camp. I want him to leave.
I think he saw the writing on the wall.
We had a small crew and I thought we knew each other well, but people turn. You really just can't trust anyone. I know that now.
Maybe he liked us at first when he thought we were cool and not real people. Maybe he never cared for us at all. At any rate, soon it was all over.
We planned a big action later that winter, a secret one. It was day 451 of the Bayou Pipeline Camp. It was an escalation. We wanted to hurt their equipment. We planned it out so carefully. We kept the secret. We were good. We were like a well-oiled machine. The night before, we were all restless, though. Something felt off.
Night falls. Everyone lies down. Little Bird gets up after a moment and sits perfectly still, looking out over the land. Rosie wakes and sees them.
Little Bird, you should get some sleep. Big day tomorrow.
I can't sleep, Rosie.
They sit in silence and look out into the night. Wind shakes the branches.
What do you need right now?
I need land back that was stolen and liberation for all my people, Little Bird.
No, that's not what I asked. I wish you would tell me what you're really thinking. God knows you don't tell anyone else. People don't know you, and they'd still walk to the end of the earth for you, Rosie. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I know you too well to do that, but I'm still here, following you, and I don't know how far the end of the earth is from here, you know? And you still don't trust me. Not completely.
You're a good person. Thanks for being here all this time. And I do trust you. I just can't answer that question right now.
They sit by each other and look into the woods.
Neither of us slept. In 3 hours, it was time to go.
Rosie and Little Bird stand. It is night, and the sun is beginning to come up. With the furniture on stage, they build a barricade. Bugs, Rosie, and Little Bird are working to lock themselves into a PVC pipe. The birds are chirping wetly in the morning, echoing through the swamp. Gloria is as support with water and food for them. She helps Little Bird drink some water.
Someday we'd be asked to explain ourselves. How can you defend yourself when you did nothing wrong? My head is the rush of the ocean, the creak of the house, the sounds of birds in the morning. How could I answer?
Somebody blew our cover and we probably know who. Gloria, I hear something.
Well, they shouldn't be here yet.
Someone tipped them off.
Oh, shit. Should we run?
Distant shouting.
We're locked in. They can see us already. Gloria, stall them. Go talk to them.
They shouldn't have known. They weren't supposed to be here till...
Branches breaking. What little light and sun there is gets swept up by shadows. The shadows come in from all sides. Police lights harsh on their faces.
Remove yourself from the equipment or we will remove you.
This was the last stand, pretty much. Tex had told us how we could stop the bulldozers and concrete mixers for good. We poured sugar in their gas tanks. We popped the tires with nails.
I could have killed him. I could have beat him to a pulp. I could have splintered his smug little face into a million pieces.
Tex was on security last night. He was so good at it, so sharp-eyed. He would have radioed us if he'd seen anything. I know he would have.
Yeah, Tex was on security, so it had to have been him. Even if it wasn't him, he wasn't here with us. I'm not fucking with Tex no more.
So what, I'm canceled? I'm over? After all the work I put in for you?
Well, who else could it have been?
I don't know. Literally anyone? Any one of the people who's come to stay here? Your cousin, Little Bird's trash friends? I mean, our vetting system wasn't exactly airtight.
I mean, there's no proof. He loved that land. He loved nothing better. Well, he stayed up 4 nights a week pulling security shifts late at night on the gravel drive.
He said unkind things sometimes. He was reactionary in a lot of ways, but I don't know if it means... Oh, fuck! Get off me!
The shadows rush in on them and Rosie screams and yells indiscriminately. Sounds of kicking and struggle. The sounds die down, the shadows recede. The birds come out again. They're all in court. Tex is nowhere to be seen. Bugs in a wig is the judge.
When we could all finally see each other, Tex wasn't there.
Order! Order!
They separated us by assumed gender, put me in the wrong paddy wagon, of course, slapped the iron on us, and then locked us up from dawn till noon the next day.
The judge sits on his big fat ass and survey the room. If only these hippies would stop their yammering, he thinks.
Normally, when more than one of us rode in a paddy wagon together, we'd sing or something to lighten the mood and annoy the cops. The more they told us to shut up, the more fun we had.
Shut up! How many times the judge has seen them and their smelly friends? Seen as evidence their splotchy banners and PVC pipes.
We all spent the night in holding cells with chains all weighing us down and nothing but a stale bologna sandwich to eat, all facing the same fluorescent lit wall. So I couldn't tell who all was there next to us.
Eating from the trash, living in that falling apart house. They were always planning to destroy property or discussing it, but rarely ever actually destroyed anything. Except this once, when they got caught.
But then they came and got us and paraded us in front of the courtroom, shivering in our first layer of clothing on that winter morning. And we were all there, but Tex.
The judge bangs the gavel and Little Bird sits down. A video of Rosie locking herself to equipment is shown. The video zeroes in on her. She can't watch it. She hates seeing herself on camera.
Always a slightly new crowd every time. Miss Navarra often made people leave, the informants told us. It seems she could rarely find people to her standard of pure commitment, whose lives could be devoted entirely to stopping a little section of line that was already built from the northern oil fields. 90% of it built, I believe. What a sad little last stand. The town didn't even like them, thought the judge. They put up flyers all the time, but still their community outreach events were attended by the same 3 grandmothers and the one guy who owned an old plantation house 15 miles away, who wanted to preserve the character of the landscape and keep his property values up. And every time Miss Navarra yelled at him, it just made him more determined to keep coming.
The room was filled with cold and dusty light. In the pools of sunshine coming in from the windows, specks of loose skin and hair drifted. having detached themselves from us, disgusted with being part of us any longer.
Do you have anything further to say, Miss Navarra?
No, Your Honor. Actually, yes, Your Honor. I have always lived with the knowledge of how quickly I could have nothing. I know you don't care, but it is hard and rare to own land out here if you're not white. And my family did it. We gripped it with our fucking teeth, and we held on. We armed ourselves against the Ku Klux Klan more than once. Someone even tried that shit when I was a kid. Came with a gun to tell me the property wasn't ours by right and that we weren't welcome. We sent them howling into the night.
No cussing in the courtroom, Miss Navarra.
We fucking welcomed ourselves. We took care of that land and it took care of us. It hit us when we needed it to and fed us and watered us. We weathered storms in it. It absorbed them, took them in, kept us safe. Every year it gets worse. A 6-foot wide strip of my land fell into the river one year because of a storm. So will this pipe. It will leak and spill and explode. Everything you build will spill and everything you build will break. And then you'll have to fix it. And it'll cost you millions of dollars. So why build it in the first place? My ancestors will fucking haunt you. They'll haunt all of you until you wish you were dead.
The judge thinks. They have access to money. They cried their eyes out for the rich liberals in Houston and New Orleans, shook down the pockets of every big greeny nonprofit you could think of. 90 days in jail and $32,000 in fines for each of us.
I can handle that.
Yeah, we can raise the money.
The judge thinks, as an impartial arbiter of the law, I do believe she isn't upset enough about this. The judge thinks, since my friend Mr. Abelard, the lawyer, owns stock in natural gas, surely he wouldn't be satisfied with this state of affairs. The judge thinks, this company has every right to build this pipe through her land, right through her house, in fact. Besides, the judge's hands weren't tied the way they were a year or so ago when this all began. There were some new people in office who wouldn't blink twice at some ragged kids getting evicted so the Gulf Coast economy could thrive.
That broke her, I think.
All the nice liberals who supported us in Houston and New Orleans gave us some money to bail us out, but we couldn't keep them interested after that. Remember how they told us that the kids were going to save us all? We're not kids anymore. We hadn't saved anything. I had lines under my eyes from being under the sun all day.
They all sit in the same attitude as before when Rosie was shooting the house.
So we went back a couple weeks later, like real late, and got shit-faced and shot the windows out. Tex was there. We didn't say anything to him. I don't think any of us knew what to say or were sure what his deal was, and we just wanted to have a good time. We went back once after that, but there were cops and security all over it. We saw Tex there pointing out where things were to them, and we felt like idiots.
When Little Bird speaks, Rosie picks up the gun and shoots the house over and over and over and over again, with the others behind her watching. Everything flickers with firelight. Between volleys, the locusts. Then it's dark. When the light returns, it's a thin sliver of dawn across the stage.
And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the veils of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings.
The light widens slowly into day. The furniture is all rearranged. We're in Gloria's house, but it's also Rosie's, and Bugs lives there too, and Little Bird is sitting with him sewing tarps. Time has passed. Gloria's in her bedroom apart, getting ready for work. Tex is gone.
Rosie tries to do it all again.
Do you have to sew those tarps in the middle of the floor?
Rosie has to know I didn't do it for her.
Rosie has to know I did it for her.
We have a meeting here in a minute.
Do you want me to sell my plasma or do you want me to sell these tarps? Those are the options.
Surely there are other options.
Maybe you could do it in our bedroom. I have to go to work in a minute anyway.
Gloria, back at the whip for the family.
Well, these are tribal elders from further down the pipeline route. They've been hospitable to me, and I want to show them a clean house.
Are they coming now? And when did you plan this? And why is it here?
We've been going back and forth for weeks. It just worked out today. They'll be here around 6. I'm sorry I can't make the tribal elders work on your schedule.
You know what? I'll just finish these in my car. No problem.
Where they sleep, in the driveway.
Gloria walks quickly out, her makeup done and her hair up. Bugs walks after her.
Gloria,
We should talk later.
you're pissed and you won't tell me why.
I'm not pissed.
I'm looking for a place.
It's not that. You can stay here.
I'm looking for a job.
It's okay. I'm making good tips.
You're patronizing me. You can let me know when you're sick of my bullshit. I'll get out of your hair. I'll just go.
You're drunk. Go to bed. I'll talk to you later. Please, I'm late.
Gloria exits.
They'll never tell you what they're really thinking. They'll tell you to radio them when you feel like you're in danger. They'll tell you you can crash as long as you like, but you have to keep it together. And if you can't keep it together...
I was trying to find a better place for us to be. My land's a little tore up, but I might be able to fight for it. If only the community would come through for us like we've come through for them. But they told me we'd been reckless. They didn't like our press. No, you have to change tactics sometimes. I respect that. I have to. When the storms come, they get it first out there by the shore. I try to do it their way.
Rosie walks off despondent as Bugs passes out on the couch. The lights flick on and off. Gloria returns, clearly after work, winter clothes on. More time has passed. Little Bird and Rosie walk on, arguing.
Little Bird has better things to do.
Listen, I'm only leaving for a few months. I'll be back before you know it.
Come on, Little Bird. Just bring some of your crew down here. There's plenty to do.
People are dying up in Colombia. They need medics.
People are dying here.
Not like that. Yeah, the land's getting tore up, but not like that. Like, people got flooded out of their houses. People getting sick, and all they're doing is arresting looters. You know the drill.
What was that you always said about needing to work proactively? Am I imagining it? That we can't be reacting all the time? We need to organize? We're organizing. We're building the infrastructure for disaster response if we need it.
Oh, yes, with all the people that love us.
Well,
It's what?
Rosie, it's...
Disasters everywhere, Little Bird. You can pick a place to be and stay there, you know.
I've been committed to this pipeline for a long time. I've been here longer than anybody. Rosie, you know I love you. You know I'll be back.
They don't want to say it, what they're really thinking. But they will. They will have to. In time. And the time is now.
Well, that's where I'm needed, and that's where I'll be. I'll come back if you need me, if things ramp up again.
You know, you don't need to come back. If there's another crisis, you can hop on over there.
Oh, you mean if people need medical care and food and life-saving support the state refuses to provide? There's a crisis every minute. I'll find my way.
And that's how Little Bird left.
Little Bird gives Bugs a big hug.
Here's a little sampler, some teas I made, one for your lungs, one to help you sleep, and one for your nerves. Call me if you need anything, okay? You're doing good. I'll be back soon.
And then it was us. It was just me, Gloria, and Bugs, who worked at a different restaurant every week, it seemed. who always seemed to mouth off to someone and come home a day later with no job. When the nonprofits paid our rent, it wasn't a problem, but he'd be gone for days without telling us and bring people home with him that we didn't like. And then he didn't clean up the messes he made, and it added up, you understand? Bugs talks to the sky. One night in wintertime, Bugs got really, really high. I knew he'd been using, I don't know what. It wasn't weed. I don't know what we did wrong, I guess. I know it was safer for him to use here than somewhere else. I didn't want him to use. I didn't know what to do.
Slew! Say it with me, slew!
He didn't know what he was saying, and he wouldn't tell us what he took.
Now sing it. In harmony, sing it. Do you know who I am? I am mighty. I am vengeance. I am green. I am green. I know nothing. I am green and growing from the earth. I am new to this world. I believe everyone is kind. I believe everyone is good. Now say it with me, slow. Say it with me.
Bugs, come back to me.
I want to tear this world apart and see what the worms are eating at the rind.
Bugs throws a bottle and it cracks over Gloria's head. Rosie tackles him.
I want to hold lightning in my hands and keep the birds for remembrance.
Bugs tries to dive for the window and everyone pulls him away.
Show the river I can run as fast as it can run.
I took him into my room and I calmed him down, and we were okay that time.
Gloria and Bugs walk to her mattress and she holds him while he comes down. He falls asleep and she rubs her face, furious and sad.
I don't know what more we can do for Bugs.
Gloria holds Bugs on the couch in the dark.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could have done more. I don't know. You have to draw a line sometimes. And Rosie and he had never gotten on super well, even when they were fucking, which was on and off. I'm tired just thinking about it. Rosie and I talked about it. She thought it was for the best.
There you go. Throwing me under the bus and taking no responsibility for the things you do.
I think we should find a new piece of land. I think we should buy it cheap. Buy a big plot with nothing on it. I'll build a plot from scratch. I'll go back a tree. I'll hold off the pipeline. We can plant some food, maybe, like peaches, tomatoes. We can even have a concert venue. Invite people out, fund a movement. I could play drums again. I could fix cars. A little community house. Maybe a few more people living there. Again, I bet Little Bird would want to come back.
I thought maybe he could go to another collective house nearby. Look, Bugs didn't have an easy life, but me and Rosie, there were things we were trying to do.
Gloria, I heard some news. There's a new camp with some young folks from the reservation holding it down. The elders are finally on board with it. I've been on calls with some of the folks involved, and they need people on the ground. We can ditch this apartment and go there. Only Bugs can't come. It's high stakes work they're doing more than before. It has to be just us.
I thought we could go back to Rosie's land, squat it, see what's there now, fix what we can.
Hey, we should step outside. We need to talk.
Bugs unfolds himself from the couch.
Sure. What's up?
Let's take a walk around.
They walk.
Bugs, Rosie and I are going to go to a new camp. You know, the one further down the line by the coast.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
What?
Would you want to hold on to the apartment? I think you could use it. A stable place to be. We'd still see you. I can even still pay rent on it.
Oh, I mean, I want to come to camp.
I wouldn't have vouched him in if it came to that.
And you could get some, you know, maybe go back to AA.
I'm good. Back at camp, I'll be fine.
No, it's not a suggestion. Listen, we can't help you. And I'm stressed too, and Rosie's trying to do her thing, and I just
Okay. Yeah, I don't. What are you saying?
I think people just want you to get some help. People just, we're hitting a phase of this where we might have to take some more serious action, and I think it's been stressful on you. I'm worried. I swear, if you keep on like this, you're gonna die, man. Please say something.
Bugs' face does not register a single emotion, but you know he's going to lose it later. The lights start to turn down.
It's not that you can't visit or help out. I think you've done so much. I think you can help off-site.
The lights go off and then back on. Bugs is gone. The wind starts to blow.
Bugs?
Gloria goes to the table and starts polishing glasses. Little Bird is there, dressed as her co-worker. The light is a gray evening light.
No one's come in this whole night and no one's making any money. I'm going to see if we can go home.
No, they should have just called it. Is Waffle House still open? But that's how you know. If they close down, we're boned.
Oh, good idea. I'll check. Were you told to evacuate?
No, I'm just far enough from the floodplain.
Yeah. I feel like I used to run out of town around this time every year, but you never really know which ones are going to cause the real damage. You should be okay.
I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and see what it's looking like. But I just don't know. I might still leave.
She goes off to the side and smokes in silence for a while. Her phone rings, but she hangs up. It rings again. She looks and hangs up again. She looks up at the sky and the wind lifts her hair. Rosie comes on stage.
You took me for granted every minute, and then you lost your shit in court, and we lost the land, and you just drug me around with you.
I loved you.
You just kept me around so I could be the last one who wouldn't leave you.
I loved you.
You seemed so strange then. You seemed out of it. You hadn't slept. You hardly ate. Every time your phone went off about some pipeline shit, you went off to put yourself out there on the line. The kids at the other camp, they had a crew and you weren't part of it. You had advice for them and they didn't want to take it. They wanted to do things their way. You said they were bound to lose and you threw in the towel and we both had to leave.
I know I've made mistakes.
It's water under the bridge at this point.
But every time I opened the door, you followed me in. I wasn't really ever trying to be a leader. I was the loudest and I had the most to lose. If you just wanted like a group of friends, you could find that somewhere else. I was here to do the work. I was here to win. I guess I was the only one.
Rosie moves behind and Gloria fills a tray with food for her customers. Little Bird stops cleaning dishes and looks at the audience.
So we scattered.
Rosie, Tex, Gloria, Bugs, and Little Bird separate across the space. The stage gets darker.
And the years came.
And they went.
They passed.
And
Past.
End of Act 1. Act 2. Open on all in the same attitude as before, scattered across the stage.
So we scattered.
Scattered. Rosie steps out of her aunt's apartment and hears the roar of traffic on either side of her. It assaults her ears. She puts some earbuds in. It's Bad Brains, the black punk band from DC that were banned from playing in their hometown in the 90s. Tex puts his feet up on a table in a small town in Montana. Nobody there knows him, which is the way he likes it. Nobody knows what he's there to do. His big knife is in his one boot, and his little knife is in his other boot, and his guns are in his car. Bugs gets on his bicycle to deliver pizza to a Philly brownstone. It's not raining yet, but the air is heavy with moisture. Little Bird sits down at a desk and clips their nails one by one, irritating their coworker, who nurses the resentment without saying a word and has for years. Little Bird's better at this job than anyone, though. No one can say shit to them.
Gloria serves Tex, dressed up as a customer.
Gloria makes $20. She keeps thinking she'll leave, but new customers keep coming in to have a little bitty drink before the sea comes up to greet them. Everybody's talking about how bad it's going to be. Gloria can't help but listen. She feels the sea closing in like something visceral and deep, like she's in a room with no door. People will flag her down and they say, "Why are you working?" "I don't know, bitch. Why are you here?" 2 years or so ago, she used to get called sweetie a bit more, but not so much now. Maybe she doesn't moisturize enough. Maybe she's just a regular old grown-up now like the rest of them. Her mistakes ain't cute no more. They're just dumb. Customers tip her a little, but she doesn't smile enough, so it's not much.
Gloria is measuring the sky with every glance at the window. She's measuring every cloud movement on high alert. When the wind blows this way, should she go home? Will the sky turn yellow or green?
That's a tornado color.
Will the wind whip up or will it go dead silent? Every storm has a different character.
Looks like we're closing. I'm just going to get your check, sir.
She was so sour. Well, why do they always give me the glummest waitresses? Okay, what's 10% of 2065?
Everyone clears out of the center. Gloria and Little Bird sweep the floor and bar the windows and stack things in a manner as though they're putting chairs up, though it is other things that they're putting up as well. As they do so, they chat.
Well, that was ass. Want a drink?
Yeah. Can I take it to go? Maybe a Jack and Coke? Put it right in my water bottle.
Drink it here. I'll make you a second.
Little Bird makes it. Everyone else gathers around and Little Bird pours one out for all of them. The radio plays some combination of syrupy 80s ballads and crackly weather broadcasts until Gloria turns it down.
Shouldn't we tell them what we've done since?
I can't remember any of it. It all blurs together. I don't think I've done much, frankly.
Well, it's been 4 years. Some things must have happened to y'all.
5.
God, has it been that long?
Well, we left to go to the camp.
Well, yeah, that didn't fucking last long.
They didn't have what it took.
You could have taught them so much, and instead, you decided that they weren't good enough and tried to take over.
And the stakes were too high. It wasn't an internship, Gloria. I knew better when I was 18.
Well, anyways, they built the pipe. The kids got courted by some local green nonprofits with some big money and went on a speaking tour to like DC or some shit. I don't even think they got paid for it, but the effort got some press. I think some people were pissed on both sides. The radicals thought they'd sold out. Their parents didn't trust any of it. A lot of big donors thought they were too militant and told them to tone it down.
Rosie downs her drink and Little Bird makes her another.
But they were just kids who'd grown up poor in a little parish in a federally unrecognized tribe, you know? So it blew up in the press, way more than we ever did, I have to say. And the EPA formed a committee to form a committee or whatever they do. And the big greens patted the kids on the head and said they'd won, and the kids believed it. Or maybe they were too overwhelmed to do much more. Pipeline got to the ocean 2 years later.
Oh, I never heard about that part.
They were too busy ditching you to remember. Wait, sorry. They were too busy ditching to tell you. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and where were you, bootlicker?
None of your business.
Time for my second Jack and Coke.
Little Bird pours it.
Well, so, okay, you're missing a big part of the story here. When I was off helping out with the floods, I heard nothing from y'all. Total radio silence. So then by the winter time, I called all three of you and none of you picked up. The crew I was with over there sort of dissolved, so I came back figuring you'd be there, but none of you were there. And then it turned out you just lost Bugs.
He didn't tell us where he went. He's not a child. We're not his keepers.
I stayed in your house. Oh, yeah. Well, you came back and got kind of mad that I had a key.
Oh my God, don't even remind me. Look, we were really worried about Bugs. We tried to reach him. We tried everywhere. We had literally no idea where he went. We figured he was out hopping in the Bay Area with a girlfriend. Hopping trains again. One time during camp, he went out to trim weed in the Bay Area with his girlfriend. She was still out there. We called the weed farm, though. They'd been burnt up in a wildfire.
Could have been he was just out there lying on the beach, getting high and running into the waves.
Gloria starts packing up.
The beach. That's where I'm going.
Everyone immediately falls over themselves trying to stop her, but they forget they are memories and made of air.
Just on the way to the grocery store, then home. Need to clear my air, clear my head.
She gives Little Bird a peck on the cheek, pours a little extra whiskey into her water bottle. Well, a lot. Takes her keys and goes out to her car. Bugs stands up and looks after her fiercely. Her phone rings. She looks at it, closes her eyes, and picks up.
It was after Rosie and I broke up the last time that I heard from him. Where Bugs went. Good God, where the fuck have you been? We've been looking all over. We spent days and nights trying to find you.
I'm fine.
Good God. We called every hospital. We called the morgue.
Okay. Let's hang out. I'm staying over some people's houses right now. Just come on over.
On the west side of town, on one side of the underpass. It had just rained and underpass water was leaking onto my windshield.
Gloria walks down a street of low-slung, yellow-sided houses. She comes to a cracked white door and knocks. Bugs comes to the door, unshaven and pale, but otherwise put together. He's rounder in the belly than he used to be and has a gaunter face.
Hey, do you want to come in, or we could walk around? There's a park. It's small, or we could, I'd say buy you a drink, but I have like $2 to my name.
I could buy you a drink.
No. Just come in. We have a back porch.
Yeah, sounds good.
She passes under his dark doorway.
Hey, you got a dog?
Nah, ain't mine. Keeps shitting on the floor. Man, I can't wait to leave this place. Want a cigarette? Okay, don't sit on anything. I think the couch has scabies.
He had a little porch out the back door with some steps leading down into a fenced yard. You could see the plants and smokestacks arrayed out behind it, their smoke mixing with the gray springtime afternoon.
They sit down next to one another.
Oh, hey, I got a lighter.
No. Wait. Okay, fine. Gimme.
They sit in silence for a while, smoking self-consciously.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get in touch. I didn't want for everyone to worry.
Worry.
Yeah.
Well, we did. That we worried.
Sorry. Well, I'm okay. Okay?
His hands tremble.
At first, we thought you were just traveling.
I was. I traveled all alone. I was on the train and I had this moment in Amarillo passing through the desert. It was so hot. And I had no water left, only beer. And maybe I looked into the sun. Maybe it was the heat, but I couldn't sleep. And days, days and days went by, and I was on the train and drunk, and I couldn't sleep, and waking and sleeping it just blended together. And when I was in New Mexico, I would look down at the tracks, rushing, clanking beneath me, and I wanted to throw myself into them. It was so hot, I just felt I could melt. I came so close to throwing myself under them, Gloria. Closer than I'd ever come. So when I got to Albuquerque, I checked myself into a psych ward. No questions asked. I just went in there and I slept in the bare room. It was so cold. I just slept, Gloria. I didn't listen to a word they said. I ate and I slept. In a month, they discharged me.
How'd you get back here?
I just hitched and walked a lot.
He stubs out his cigarette under his toe. The air is yellowish gray and dusty.
You checked yourself into a hospital in Albuquerque, stayed for a month, and walked home.
Look, if you came to
No, I'm just worried about you, dude.
because like
I'm glad you were able to check yourself in.
Bugs sighs. They sit looking out at the yard. The sun is setting. When a big truck passes, sometimes it blocks the light. A flicker chills the world.
do you ever think maybe you weren't meant to do anything else
How do you mean?
other than camp? I felt like my purest self there. It was just me and the woods and the will to do right. Nothing's worked right since we left. I mean, things weren't perfect at camp either, but it all felt worth it. And it felt like if I was struggling, it was for the right reasons and towards something just and new. I just felt this fire in my chest. I keep trying to get back to it, but I can't.
Gloria sighs. She feels it. She has felt it.
I used to think I wouldn't live past 22, and I'm starting to think it would have been better if I hadn't. Everything since then has felt like an epilogue.
Please don't say that. I have so much love for you. You know that, right?
That's different from I love you. I find you insufferable, but I care about what happens to you anyway.
Well, I love you then.
Yeah, Gloria. I love you too. Pass me another cigarette.
Rosie and I don't talk anymore.
Really?
Yeah, she moved to New York, saved money by moving in with her aunt. She invited me to her going away party, but I didn't go because I'm too chicken.
Gloria turns to us, puts her hands over Bug's ears briefly.
She didn't call me for 3 years, and when she did call me, it was absolutely the worst day of my life.
She takes her hands off Bug's ears.
I keep thinking of her up there with her hair grown out long, like she was trying to do. She wanted real radicals, real Jack Rocks people like her, people who would throw down like her, go to battle with her. I love her, love her, love her. Where Rosie went.
Did she miss the heady old times, the camps on the bayou, the constant chill and threat, the early mornings calling comrades in jails? Did she miss the old house with its windows all shot out?
At meetings in her new city, she would examine her nails and be bored. She had no love for any of them, Rosie, or if she did, she hid it very well. She was deeply on edge these days. Besides, they were children. They didn't know how to run a risk, how to build anything more than a book club, a study group. When they took the streets, they took only the sidewalk. They registered their marches with the sheriff's department so that little men in green neon vests could guide them safely through a hostile maze. They were so new, so young. And everyone Rosie's age was starting to drop out of these things, to check into their day jobs and have children and the like. They were moving on.
You don't move on from this work. It is a part of you.
We saw each other once, just one time, on May Day. There was a protest in the square. A few scattered people, not a big one, not like there used to be. I'm doing good now, by the way. I have a job, a full-time job with a nonprofit, mostly environmental work. They liked my experience, even though I never got my degree. They liked the grit I had. We fight for waste equality in Brooklyn, work with the Teamsters Union, bridge that labor and environmental gap. It's good work, and it pays the bills. I have a salary and health care for the first time in my life. And I still do my tinctures, but I can also get antibiotics, which is nice.
I never got paid, not once.
They put everyone in a cage, like a little pen. It's not a big group spilling into the streets kind of thing. Everybody's fractured. A Mayday here and a Mayday there, all little groups of 10 or 12 people shouting angrily on a street corner. Our coalition had by far the biggest one, but a lot of folks were against it because of the pen. I know, I didn't want it either. I wasn't really sure how we could say no. My boss made me apply for a march permit. It was easier when we didn't have money to just do things.
A pen is constructed out of the furniture by Tex. Little Bird remains behind it.
Back in the day, we'd march for May Day and take the whole street. And I was leading some of the chants. I couldn't tell people to go up against the police. I had a job to do, and that was to keep them safe. But fucking Rosie, she came in and she started saying,
"What are you doing? I could throw up, Little Bird."
Throw up on the cops.
"Please, Rosie, let's talk this out another time."
Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step back.
Rosie does not.
Ma'am, if you do not step back, I will have to detain you.
I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made.
Tex walks her to the side and tosses her to the ground as Little Bird watches. It's not even worth it to arrest her. What would it do? She stays there.
9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade.
It was a promise.
I called her the next day, left a voice message. She never called me back. What could I do? I moved on.
They say this is what democracy looks like, and wave their little red flags around while the cops hem them in and tell them where to go. And it's all white people. They're all going to ask why it's all white people and act like they're going to reach out into Black and brown communities next time. We would have shown up if this was anything real, if it meant anything true.
She spits.
This is what democracy looks like. Fair enough.
Saving the forests and the coasts, returning stolen land to the people it belongs to. Is this a game to you? She would silently ask at night, staring sleeplessly at the streetlights that lined her new world, from inside her aunt's cramped apartment by the Gowanus Canal.
The fate of the world. Are you just playing at it?
One night, as she was mixing valerian into her tea, she felt a constriction in her chest.
Rosie's hand flies to her collarbone and she looks confused, then terrified. She puts the other hand on the table for support.
The room started to close in, literally close in, the ceilings and the walls clanking and creaking towards her like she was a piece of refuse in a trash compactor.
Rosie gasps ragged breaths and sits on the floor, holding on to it with her very fingernails, and lies down and breathes in through her nose and out through her mouth. She counts backwards from 100 by sevens. After a time, her throat feels clear again and she opens her eyes. The apartment is the same as it's always been. The apparent lace curtains, the floral everything, the salmon light in the window, the sound of air piping through the vents. Elbows, knees, nose, all there.
She's better at this than she used to be. Her mind runs and her body sits still. You can't call the ambulance. There's nothing wrong with you, though maybe someday there will be, and you'll think it's all in your head. What then? It doesn't matter. You just have to let it run its course.
The sounds of Rosie's breathing hover over the darkness. Gloria and Bugs are still sitting on the stoop together in the waning light.
I'm leaving this town too, as soon as I can.
Why don't you stay?
I've done everything I can do here. I'm tired of it.
You just got back. When are you leaving? Where will you go?
Philly. My buddy plays in a band there, and he says I can drum with him. I want to get back into playing music. Maybe I can get into fermentation, start a kimchi company, and do AA. Bike around, smoke hookah, fight Nazis.
Gloria cracks a smile.
I'll miss you.
Come see me.
Sure.
She won't.
Okay. Let me know if you need any help packing your stuff up.
Don't worry about it.
They embrace and the lights flick off and on, and Gloria is alone again.
Where Bugs Went, Part 2.
Everyone always thought Bugs would meet a tragic end.
No one said it to his face, except for Gloria, once, when she saw that he was using again and she couldn't take it anymore, and asked how he really thought it was all going to turn out for him. She cried that night, because I said Bugs was a liability and a problem, and here he was proving it. Couldn't help himself.
Besides, as Bugs often said, usually at 4 a.m. after setting something on fire or puking off the back porch or playing drums in his friend's punk band at a show in an underpass, he said,
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
walking calamity boy, cautionary tale boy, but good, so good at heart. Older and older he got, and he was still the same.
I watched him, high as a kite, trying to fix the car he and Tex had reconfigured to run on vegetable oil, and he dropped a wrench on his own face and didn't even feel it. But that wasn't it. You're all missing the point. He was doing good. He was playing drums.
Bugs wanders off and Gloria sits down and smokes a cigarette. Her phone is ringing. She hangs up. It's ringing. She hangs up.
Here's how Bugs died. True to his name, a splat on the road. It was raining hard, and he had just moved to Philadelphia.
I imagine him setting out that evening on his bicycle delivery job, which was off an app. He delivered pizza, but Chinese food, whatever people ordered, he delivered. But he liked it, cycling down the streets and watching everybody in South Philly live their lives. Past the kids playing games on the grass of an abandoned lot, the red taillights streaming one way down the road and the white headlights streaming the other way, a river of light in rush hour going up and around the hills.
Bugs walks through the lights of a soft summertime, rainy rush hour, with pizza box in his hand, smiling.
He made more money for going out at night or in bad weather. So he'd pick up the blizzard shifts, the rain shifts, the hot, humid summer days where the air was suffocating. In the rain that night, he pulled out into an intersection and a red Dodge truck veered through a red light and hit him square on.
The rain begins to pour. Bugs turns to face us and the lights on his face get brighter and brighter.
Oh, he flew. Droplets of rain tossed from his hair, his arms wheeling, and his eyes were shut before he hit the ground. He skidded and rolled and came to a stop by the curb. The sounds of the street around him pulsed. He could feel it stronger than his own, in his arms, in his head, making his blood flow quicker.
Bugs is thrown backward and rolls on the ground, rolls and rolls till he comes to a stop. He rolls over and tries to get up. He falls back down. He tries to get up. He falls back down. All circle up next to Bugs and lay their hands on him. Gloria finally picks up the phone. Rosie picks up her phone. They see each other.
He asked him not to call an ambulance. He needed one, but he thought he was fine.
I'll be okay. Just take me home.
Someone called it anyway, but by the time it got there, he was basically One of his friends called me through his phone. They also called his parents.
My God, what did they even say?
Well, they wanted to come and take him home. Give him a Christian funeral, I suppose.
From a little house in Michigan, they picked up. God have mercy on his soul, said my mother. Who are you? Asked my father. A friend, she said. What, like a bum? Said my father. Yes, said my friend. That's me. We're coming down to claim his body, said my father. He wouldn't have wanted that, she said. He's my son, said the father. Well, you should have told him that when you had the chance, she said. My father screamed in the receiver for a while, then hung up.
Rosie had some wild idea in her head, like maybe a bugs heist, take him and bury him all by herself, dig his grave until her back ached and her hands were crusted with soil, and then put him in the ground. Say her words, say something that wasn't an apology, but it wasn't cruel. It was her duty. But how could she do that? He was in Michigan and they hadn't even been friends in years, let alone lovers.
We held a memorial without his body.
Which went against its will back up north to the little house in Michigan to a family plot.
We weren't invited to the family affair, of course. So we had a little something last spring, just as the daffodils were coming up. It was central to most people that loved him to come back to the coast.
Sounds of voices. Everyone walks toward each other. You can see they see each other, really see each other. They're really there. It is weird for all of them. Gloria and Rosie and Tex. Little Bird's the only one who's friendly with everyone.
People came from everywhere. People he'd met once, who'd heard what happened through the lines that connected everyone to each other.
Everyone gathers sanctimoniously around Bugs on the ground. Tex comes forward drunkenly to say his piece.
Bugs and I were buds. You know, this one time we were fixing my truck and he just dropped a wrench on his own face. He didn't feel a thing.
I can't believe the nerve.
I had funnier stories. Like, did you know the person I was delivering to when I died only rated me 1 star? Got me kicked off the app. I had a low rating anyway.
These people hardly knew him at all. And when Rosie and I kicked him out, they didn't call or ask how he was doing, if they were even there. So many people. The porch was starting to buckle. I hosted. I don't know why I offered to do that. I don't have the space. I didn't want to see any of them. But if I hadn't hosted, I would have stayed home. And people who hardly knew him kept talking to me like he was their best friend. I couldn't stand it.
Little Bird gets out a guitar and begins to play a little song, a 3-chord folk punk song of the kind Bugs might have written. It's awful. Tex is trying to make a fire. It doesn't work. The match sparks something, but the wind keeps blowing it out. Gloria gets up on the tree sit platform, which functions as her porch at the moment.
I hate to say it, but I always thought his vices would get him, you know? Like, I was worried about Bugs a lot. He lives so fast.
His vices didn't get him. His job did.
Tex climbs up to find her, sneering, drunk.
You're telling me he wasn't drunk as shit on that bike?
Rosie climbs up after him and pulls him off and grabs his collar and pulls him close.
I don't recall inviting you here. Did anyone invite Tex?
Not me.
Seems like maybe it's time for you to leave.
Rosie shoves Tex away. He staggers to the fore.
I feel sorry for all of you. Your little lives you think are so consequential. None of you have done anything in years. Look at you. What have you done? Laid around? Little Bird, I guess you're fucking people for money? Gloria, the bartender? At least I've been working on something of consequences. You know I'm in media now. Check out my Twitter. I just got a blue check. I care about the state of the world. I'm working on it my way, and people see it.
He storms off. Rosie looks up at Gloria. They look at each other for a while. They smile slightly, then become conscious of it and stop looking.
The party was over, just like that. We all got too drunk, not drunk enough. We all got tired too early. Everyone went home and I had to clean up the mess.
I asked them all to call me and nobody frickin' did. That's it. I was frozen out. I went back to my life. My job lost funding in a year. The grant ran out on them. So I started doing disaster relief stuff again. I'm working on my EMT. I'll make it work. I always do.
I miss the air down there so much. Just smelling it, so heavy with life. Even the edge of oil it always had to it. Oh, I wanted to come home so bad. I left my aunt's after that. She called me a no-good layabout bitch one night, and I slapped her face. So that was done. New York was done. I had a friend in New Orleans I went to live with, so not far from where I used to be. Not so far from Gloria, though we don't see each other.
After the Mississippi floods, no one would eat my cooking. Where was the meat? Beans and rice wouldn't feed families, they said. Where was the pork? What was this sweet potato mash business?
So Little Bird left. There was more flooding on in Kentucky anyway. Their truck broke down on the road 3 or 4 times, and every time someone would jump out of the brush to help them, confirming their suspicions that the world could be kind. But in Bowling Green, the helper asked if they had a dick or not, and Little Bird kicked him in the head and hitchhiked out.
May our paths be lit by the bridges we burn.
All nod solemnly. Everyone retreats but Bugs on the ground. Gloria is still going to the beach.
Mind if I come along for the ride?
Yeah, Bugs, come along.
She lifts him up into an approximation of the car seat like a child. He slides down like a puppet whose strings are cut.
Just so you know, if you're in an evacuation zone or 100 miles from the sea and the hurricane's above a category 3, you should really leave. Don't you need food? What are you doing? You're driving towards the beach. Turn around.
Gloria hits the brakes at a stoplight.
I love you. I'm going to stop and get a fried chicken sandwich at the store. You want one? I got time.
I'm not hungry. Did you know Tex has been working for a right-wing magazine?
Get out. Really? That's how he works for the media? Being dead has sure made you omniscient.
No, I don't know anything. I just Googled Tex a few weeks before I died. I read an article he wrote about the intolerant left. He talked about us. I lived it.
Bugs is too dead to talk too much. He closes his eyes and slides down in the seat again.
Here it is, the beach. Not a pretty beach. Drilling pads right off the shore. They send plumes of evil-smelling smoke into the air. Gloria remembers the last time one of them blew up. She had to wear a bandana on her face for weeks. Maybe it'll happen again.
Gloria gets out of her car and looks out.
You know, Gloria, there's a few ways this can end, and not all of them will be fun for you.
Gloria's phone rings again. She picks up. Rosie's on the other end again.
Here's one.
I want to be alone.
She won't let you.
What does she want?
Gloria, the cop.
It's Tex.
The phone goes to voicemail. Tex puts on a siren.
Yeah.
I'm not available right now. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you. Thanks.
Gloria, I've been trying to reach you all day. I know it's been a while since we saw each other.
Tex makes a siren sound with his mouth and police lights flash above Gloria. He stoops down to peer at her.
Young lady, you shouldn't be out here this close to the rainstorm. And it's too late to skip town. You're here now. You bear it out. We're closing the roads.
Are the roads closed now?
Not yet.
I'm on my way home. Just getting food for my grandma.
Throw up on the cops.
The memory in your car is being excessively impolite.
Don't mind him. Thanks for the information. I'll go home soon.
You go back to that land. Can't be undid, Gloria. You go back and you call in all kinds of things you'd rather leave behind.
I have to see it.
Mind sharing your Twitter handle with us again? I want some entertainment for the road.
I'm going.
They speed on down the coast past the slow, coagulated brown waves slapping on the gray, oily surf.
You said you would go to the beach and then go home.
Rosie walks on stage. She faces away from everyone else. She's looking at something vast.
I'm not ready to go home yet. Just a little longer.
We can hear the surf roar.
You know, Bugs, it's funny that I really live here and I'm just in it and I can't leave.
When you move to a place, your body is part of its body. Does that make sense? It's not a dream where you can have an adventure and then when you die and you wake up gasping in your parents' big house in Baton Rouge. But you knew that, didn't you?
Where do you think I should go?
The land.
The land.
No, not there.
Rosie begins to walk. Gloria moves in opposite of her, like they are repelling magnets.
The land.
Can't stop her. You're dead. So let her go there and see what it is. You want to go there? You have no time. Run there. Go. See what it is.
Gloria goes forward. Rosie goes the opposite way. Gloria moves right. Rosie moves left.
It's tore up. There's nothing to see.
There's still the bones of it. There's still the house.
The bones, the gravel drive, the husks of the trees.
And the rains come in, and with no trees, the mud's all washed the land away. Did you know you still have to pay taxes on land you've lost to the sea? I think it's hilarious. That's why I never owned anything. Look, don't go. You'll only suffer.
So let me suffer.
The rain's begun. The house is in the flatland, higher ground, not the lowest of the bottoms, but still. Where they put the pipeline in, it's a long strip of mud, shorn of trees, and the trees they just left there, like the one Rosie's great-grandmother kissed boys next to. That one's gone. The one Rosie's uncle used to climb, that one's gone. It leaked, like we always said it would. A year ago nearby, it blew up on a kid, and they spent a lot of time patching it. The kid was closer to the coast, near the second camp. The company paid his family for the funeral, and they didn't go to the press.
Little Bird and Tex watch Rosie and Gloria make their way to the land. The rain's begun to patter. Bugs tries to follow, but he falls down. He rolls over and backs against the old monopod. Rosie and Gloria are making their way through the gathering storm.
Through the woods, under the brush. Gloria hits the brakes at the bottom of the old gravel drive. She looks up at it, at trees damaged by years of worse and worse storms.
Gloria tries to carry Bugs out of the car. He's too heavy. He flops down on the ground.
I'll find my way.
I can't leave you again.
Don't be like that. Nothing can happen to me. I'm dead. Just go if you're going to go.
I'll be right back.
It's too muddy to drive up, so she begins to walk.
Rosie comes to the back entrance. She parks up by the old man camp trailer where Tex would post up with his binoculars and watch and watch and watch. The way is twisted around the woods. She makes her way over log and under thistle. The land already holds so much water, it can't hold no more. But Rosie and Gloria are strong. Rosie was always a wild swamp kid to her core. Knew how to tiptoe across a log and catch a catfish with her hand and find her way home when she was lost.
The storm picks up.
And I shall have some peace.
The others construct the land around them, a bridge, a log across a creek. Rosie and Gloria find the old house. It's still standing, but no one lives in it anymore. The windows are still shot out.
And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the veils of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings.
They walk, and the water comes up to their ankles, and the wind shrieks.
I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
Come and find me. I am here.
They're dancing around one another now. They're talking, but they're in different times, not in sync.
Those kids wanted to learn from you, and you made them feel worthless.
Gloria, there's work to do. If I can't do it, I'm nothing.
Let's move back to town. We'll start over.
I never want to see Little Bird again. They can drown for all I care. You're not like them. You've stuck with me.
Rosie, I haven't heard from Bugs. I haven't seen him. We made a terrible mistake.
Everything's about you, isn't it? You can't think for 1 second that anyone might be engaged in a struggle bigger than you and your feelings.
I've stuck by you this whole time. I thought you trusted me. Look, I'm dedicated. Trust me on this one thing. You have to take a break.
The things they are saying begin to slowly sync up. They circle each other more and more slowly. The rain is on them and they are soaked.
You have the whole world. You can be a part of anything, anything you want.
I don't want anything. I want to do this, and I want to be with you. I just think we have to take a breather. We have to build with people and reconnect and rethink. We're so isolated right now.
I always knew you weren't right for it. You're not brave enough, and you don't have the stamina. It's not for you, this work. It never was.
And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow.
You won't have peace, Gloria. There is no peace. And if you want it, this is the last place to look. This is my boundary between you and me, and I am setting it. So go.
They stop and stand, looking in opposite directions.
You just kept me around so I could be the last one who wouldn't leave you.
Okay, I think Pepin's frozen. Mark down where.
Oh, she's back.
Here I am.
Yay!
Okay, I guess from you just kept me around so I couldn't be the last one.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
You just kept me around so I could be the last one who wouldn't leave you.
I loved you.
Do you remember what you said to me? What I told you?
I forgot.
I never forgot. I'm going to start the campaign over, Gloria, and I don't need you to be a part of it. What did I say? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. What campaign? The campaign is dead. You didn't even defend yourself.
My people got me. I'll figure it out. But it never even got off the ground, I heard.
These are things you said to Bugs. But he didn't cry. He knew. You cried.
Cry then.
I can't.
It's easy for you to just leave. You have the world. You can do anything you want. So go and do that. Do anything else. I'll keep fighting with people that understand.
With who? Rosie, who do you have left? You know that when you ask me back again, you have to know I won't be there.
Go get a job off it then. Put it on your resume. Lead volunteer, Bayou Pipeline Camp. Or better yet, camp director. Just like a little sleepaway camp. Put me as a reference and see what I say.
You told me. So your new campaign, your new vision, does it involve people screaming at each other and leaving all their fucking dishes in the sink? Throwing ourselves in jail and paying them thousands of dollars to get out? Kicking vulnerable people out to go in the world alone? What kind of thing were we building? And towards what, Rosie? Who are your people? Who's got you?
Rosie, we lost. We tried, but we lost.
Dropping from the veils of morning, where the cricket sings.
The midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of linnet's wings.
The rain begins.
Watch out.
Watch out. The mud is coming.
The things that were meant to break are breaking.
The land is beginning to flood. Rosie whips around and sees Gloria and grabs her hand, and they run like hell up the creek, up through the woods, up the road, and finally to the house.
The flotsam, the jetsam, the garbage, the detritus that we made. The flood's at your ankles, but it's so strong. The current makes you buckle your knees against it. Things are coming. The tree branches, the stones, an old rake, the old garden box, the cast iron bugs left to rust in the yard that we never took it back in, the shards of a mirror, the ancient stuffing, and a box springs of a couch.
Quick, the house.
The attic.
Rosie and Gloria clamber up to the highest point on the stage. They tower over everything. The others hug the bottom of it. Rosie and Gloria reach the top and then flop down, gasping for air. Rosie's still crying.
It used to be beautiful here.
Thunder crashes. Things sway with the wind.
What do we do?
I don't know anything you don't know.
Every year they get worse. Maybe I should move.
Maybe you should.
No, I can't.
Why not?
I can't do that.
You might be happier.
I won't be happy anywhere.
I suppose it doesn't matter.
Is this the big one?
It's bigger than any I've seen. But if next year isn't worse, the year after will be.
The wind howls through the bayou. Tex and Little Bird and Bugs hold the bottom fast against the wind.
Can we get out?
No.
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Gloria's phone rings.
It's you. Which one of us is here?
I don't know.
You're calling. You won't stop calling. Why can't you leave me alone?
The land needs us to witness it.
Little Bird climbs up partway.
Shh. Shh.
They listen to the wind howl for a moment. The stage darkens. Gloria turns a flashlight on and offers Rosie a granola bar. She accepts. They eat quietly for a little while.
You remember that party we had back here once on, I think May Day? We climbed to the roof from the attic.
Yeah.
Bugs made edibles.
Little Bird also made edibles. They had a contest. Little Birds were much more artful, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Bugs got you higher.
We're too high to be setting off fireworks. And everyone was there, people from all around. One of the really good community events we did.
Yeah, they all came and Grandma Moses made us flower crowns and the town kids played in the yard.
Tex almost set the big tree on fire.
Oh, fuck. I completely forgot about that. Rosie, how can you just completely forget things that happen?
A lot's happened since then. At least we're not that stupid anymore.
You know what? We were just kids.
We were so young.
We're still young.
I don't feel young. As long as we're stuck here, I think I need to sleep a little.
Rosie closes her eyes and settles in on Gloria's shoulder.
Do you think we stood a chance?
They slowly fall asleep.
They were in that room a long, long time. Maybe just hours, days and nights, maybe, with the flashlight to see by. They slept sometimes. Sometimes Rosie woke up and looked out the window and watched the bottom floor of the house fill with water. Sometimes Gloria woke up and watched Rosie. There was a little patch of sky visible in the attic window. She watched the clouds race across it.
The wind shakes Tex, Little Bird, and Bugs. The night closes in and the storm continues to rage on all around. The only light on stage is Gloria's flashlight.
Like I said, a lot of things can happen. Even up to this point, we've only explored one of the many possible futures. And I have to say, this is one of the better ones.
Tell us then.
Well, if they stay up there, then they die. Rescue crews find them when the water goes down. Their parents don't know for another week because there's so many dead. Gloria's parents sue someone, probably. Rosie's mother mourns quietly on her own.
If they go to the roof, they might get airlifted to a football stadium. They wait there for a long time. They move in with each other. They move in with their families. They save up. They rebuild.
Or the world is wiped clean and we start over and we're pure and tough like we're meant to be.
Or we all rise from it and learn how to take care of each other. Hey, where's Bugs? Shit, I have to find him.
Maybe he's gone forever this time.
Bugs, we have to stay together. Where did you go?
Little Bird goes after. I don't know how long it's been. I'm thirsty.
They always will leave me alone. I mean, they never trusted me. Not since the beginning.
Tex climbs up to Gloria and Rosie one more time.
Come on down with me. Stop fighting what you know. You knew since you were a baby that all you were ever meant to live for was crisis, and that someday the disaster would take you. Maybe not this one, and maybe not the next one, but the one after. Maybe not the floods or the fires, maybe not the plagues, and maybe not the war, the famine that comes after, but something.
Rosie wakes up.
Tex.
I'm sorry. I am sorry for what I did. I think I did you a favor showing you your actions had consequences. I'm sorry I ever thought what you did was worth doing. Thought it was ever more than a game or a waste of time.
It can't be undone, Tex.
Tex reaches up to Rosie to either wring her neck or grab her hand, to threaten or to supplicate. Rosie recoils. He takes a piece of the platform, a piece of the old house, and throws it over their heads. He tries again. Rosie catches it and throws it back.
Get off! Get off!
Tex climbs onto the platform and Rosie and Gloria back off of it, beginning to climb down. Dawn is coming. The light is faint and growing so slow you can hardly notice.
The flotsam and the jetsam, and the sleepless nights, and the waiting.
You could have done anything else. You could have let us be.
Rosie tears pieces of the house and throws them at Tex to keep him away. They scramble and crawl all over the platform. What's left Floorboards, a ragged chair. How does he find these things? There's a creaking, there's a rushing.
The water's still high. The house is going to fall apart. Look, Gloria, the water, it's getting higher.
Let it fall. It's dead. Look, we all need to go. The dams burst. The banks are flooding. The house won't save us.
Little Bird tears a piece of the house out, a board, and another one, and another. They fit together. They're becoming something. Gloria gets the hint. She begins to tear things out. The old pieces of furniture, the garbage and wreckage the house has become. Rosie hesitates and then begins to do it too.
Tex, I want you to talk about this on your podcast. I can't wait to hear your in-depth analysis on it. It's going to be a treat.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Rosie takes the platform beneath Tex apart and throws it down to Little Bird, who throws it off stage. Everything has fallen to pieces. It's still very dark.
The house won't stand, Tex. Do you see it? Oh, the dam's burst. Get out and save yourself.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lost my shit. Just stay with me.
Tex clings to what's left and grabs for Rosie and Gloria as they clamber past him.
We're ready. Bring your food and everything you have and get in.
Then somebody comes up to meet them. It's Bugs. The flashlight shows what they've made, an ark out of all the flotsam made of the house. Bugs reaches his hand out. Gloria gets in.
I don't know which ending this is.
You made a boat.
You thought I died.
You told me about 20 times that you were dead. I just thought you left us. You're standing.
I feel good. This boat is like my body. Get in.
Gloria gets in the boat.
I don't think he's competent enough to maneuver this thing.
We can all pitch in. Come on.
Maybe we should stay and wait it out.
Get in, Rosie, or I'm leaving you in the flood.
The dam broke. The surge is coming.
After what I did to you?
It was a group effort. Just get in.
Rosie gets in the boat.
Wait, we can't just leave Tex.
Tex is clinging to what's left. It's not much.
I'll survive better on my own. I have a knife in one boot and a knife in my other boot.
What'll that do against the flood? They all shrug.
We have to go.
Gloria grabs an oar.
Good luck. I wish you'd been different.
And I you.
Push off and start rowing. Faster. Faster.
Surge comes. The boat spins around and around and around. Little Bird and Gloria row furiously. Tex disappears. Bugs rises invigorated to the prow of the ship. He looks alive again.
Yes, I wasn't anywhere, but I heard a voice. It didn't sound like the voice of God or anything, just normal, a human voice. It was very close to me. It said, you weren't meant to end like this. You were meant to go out in a blaze of glory, like swept into the sky while wrangling a tornado. Not like that. Your blood on the ground, on the road, mixed in with pizza sauce and rain and gasoline. Yes, like this is how it was meant to be.
The ship stops spinning and they row for a while. Rosie looks back and buries her head in her hands.
Rosie, the house is gone.
They all look forward and row. They switch out rowing, two of them at a time, swapping for the other when they get tired. They see something bobbing up and down in the distance. Dawn breaks. Rosie takes a paddle from Gloria and rows.
Did you see that? A fish jumped. Oh no, just kidding. I think that was a piece of pipe. Yep, the sea's on fire over there. That was pipe.
He rows for a time. Little Bird rests.
Look, a little sky. The storm is moving over land.
The day has broken.
Do you know where we're going, Little Bird?
Not much farther.
The world is wide. We can always go further.
He gets out and ties the boat up. They wade through the water. They all squint ahead.
Do you see that? It's land.
There's a house on it. A little island. It's high. The flood never reached it. Do you see anyone?
Maybe we can be there for a while.
Bugs and Rosie and Little Bird all disembark and run laughing to the shore. Gloria stares back out at us, and a cloud passes over her face, and the wind lifts her hair again.
And we came back and built again. We went somewhere that everyone can follow. I will play some music and I will plant a garden. I will plant a garden and I will make it grow. The island is here and we will bulwark it against the next storm and the next and the next. And we will go back to the town when the waters are low and invite everyone here with us. And I'll get my toolbox out and I'll fix everything that's broken. And Little Bird will heal the sick and tend to the wounded. And Rosie will show us how to rebuild the world. And Gloria will make peace when we are angry and remind us why we love each other. And there will be space for all of us to be together and to be alone. We will make it next time.
But for all this, Gloria isn't there yet. She still needs to get medical supplies, food. She needs to fill up the bathtub with water she can drink. There is so much she has to do and so little time to do it.
An unearthly, greenish, stormy light shines down on Gloria alone.
The water is beginning to rile up.
She imagines how she will look out at the water coming in over the bayou, rising and rising above the road, drowning the strip under roiling mud, lifting the dumpsters and floating them along a hot current.
She may not even see it. It may not even be as bad as they say. Maybe she wants it to really come for her this time.
She remembered how she had always thought a flood came cleanly, wiping the slate of her home place like an Etch-a-Sketch and willing her to start over. But the real life version of it, she knows, will be muddy and foul, blown in by a fast, yellowish wind from the south that smells like gas fires.
Should I have left yesterday or last month or 6 months ago?
Remember when you Googled an innocent fact about whales for a school project and the internet told you they would all be dead in 50 years, the coastline erased in your lifetime? You cried for 3 hours. The next morning you were sad and you wouldn't tell anybody why.
You thought if you didn't talk about it, you would forget. And if you forgot, it wouldn't be real.
Maybe someday it'll all be like this. Nowhere is safe. And we'll all have to hunker down where we are. That's a good call, right? To stay the course, to hold fast. I guess I never bothered to make any other plans. So this is as good as anything. Batten down the hashes. We're ready for it. Come on, Storm. I've waited on you my whole life. Don't stand me up. Don't leave me hanging. Come at me while I'm still young. Let me fight while I'm still strong.
Gloria's phone buzzes.
Pick up the damn phone.
Rain. Oh, Rosie's calling again.
Everyone looks at Gloria as she stares at her phone.
What's the worst thing I could say? Come on, pick up, talk to me. See what happens.
Gloria picks up the phone. The stage goes dark. End of play.